Good evening and welcome to another show of Let's Talk About Ice Live, crossing over from the Gold Coast to Adelaide, and we've got a really special guest on the show tonight. We're just so blessed to hear from her and so honoured to have her share her story. Guys, we do this in hope that others can learn from our journey. We're not here to glorify or to air our dirty laundry. It's not comfortable. It's not an easy thing to do. But the reason we do this is because we want others to understand this journey, to understand how dangerous this drug is, and to understand that it destroys lives. Yeah, and then we're in hope that by sharing our stories and by asking you to press share and sharing it with your network, we can reach more people and we can get the message out there. Yeah, not even once is our message. Don't touch this drug. It's it's a killer, honestly, and it's family destroying, it's life destroying, and very few people come out the other side. So we're doing everything that we can to get into our schools, to get into our community, and share this message. So we ask you today, please press share. And share it with your network. You don't know who needs to hear this message today. It could be your child, it could be your niece, it could be your friend. It could be anybody that needs to hear that recovery is possible, but you're better off not even going down that path. Yeah. So I'd like to say thank you to all the supporters who support Australian Anti-Ice campaign. Thank you for your continued support. I know life's a bit shaky at the moment. There's a lot going on, COVID and floods and, crazy time in 2022. But things will settle down again, and thank you for your continued support. If you haven't seen already, on our page we've got a request out there. Gardner Cars are sponsoring $5,000 to a charity, and we're in the running for that. The way that we can be blessed with those funds to be able to do more work is by you going onto that link and putting our name down. Yeah, so if you follow Australian Anti-Ice campaign, ask your friends to do that, to share that link on Gardner Cars, and put Australian Anti-Ice campaign in the comment so that we can win. So we want to win that money so we can help get to more schools. We can help more people, whether it's getting to the places we need to get to, or going into schools and helping people make a pathway into recovery. Yeah. So if you could do that, that'll be amazing. Thank you for following us. Thank you for all our sponsors that continue to sponsor us and make it possible for us to be around, because we do have offers to run, and we have a house for women that we run. We have different programs, buddy system, peer support, and so to do that we need your support. So if you could share this, first and foremost, share this post so people can understand and walk with us on this journey. Without further ado, I want to introduce Naomi. Naomi, thank you so much for coming on the show, agreeing to share your story. I know it's a big deal, and it's been quite a huge story. I've got to say, not in a good way, but not in a bad way, but heroic. Like, I keep hearing that. Like, when you were telling me a little bit of your story and I didn't even go into detail, I was like, oh my goodness, this lady is amazing, and what you've walked through, my friend, is huge. Yeah. And I'm grateful that you coming out and speaking, because it's that way that we can really put the light on to what happens when somebody walks down this journey. Hey. So without further ado, thanks, Christina, for putting the number there. If you need help, if anybody needs help, please, the number to call is 1-800-NO-TO-ICE. Yeah. There's also the family support number 0481844555. Yeah, if you need help, either one of those numbers. If you are somebody that's entrapped in addiction, please call us. We want to walk you out of that space. Yeah, we want to help you. We want to walk with you. It's not an easy journey. And you might be watching the show tonight and be touched and say, I want to change my life. I want to get out of this world. And I'm sure Naomi's story is going to inspire you. So give us a call. Yeah. Naomi, I want to go back. I want to get a bit of a picture
Yeah.
of who you are and what, like, were you a child that was brought up in an environment of drugs? Tell me about your
No.
upbringing and your child.
My upbringing, my mum raised me. My mum was a single mum with her two daughters. I grew up in a country town. Yeah, close community. I saw my father regularly, and he was good influence. He's a good man. My parents not on drugs at all. Very much against drugs. My mum can't stand cigarettes as it is. Very anti-smoking, and yeah, I mean, I became very independent woman. I was working. I was very successful financially. I was secure. I had a great housing history with the rentals and my job, and I was really successful and going somewhere in life. Until I met a man who I fell for and was smitten for. Um, I used to smoke marijuana, and I used to pop ecstasy and go partying. And when it came to ice, I didn't care. I didn't want a thing to do with it. I said, I'm never going to touch that. And here I am. I eventually did that. I fell for this boy, and for some reason, I was so smitten that I tried it. I got hooked smoking on, yeah, meth and ice through the pipe. Um, and it turned my life around, and I'm, yeah, in the worst way possible, which we'll discuss.
Tell me,
Yeah,
I want to slow down a little bit
yeah, sorry.
because yeah, it's a familiar story to many. Thank you, Sarah. I'm so with you because that sounds like me and probably Sarah and a few other people. But
Yeah,
I want to go back. So your family didn't have a history of drug taking.
no violence,
You,
no drugs,
no, no.
nothing.
So
No,
you
no, my
were.
family's a very good, respectful family. They're all very close.
Did you have
So
brothers and
it was a big shock.
sisters?
I have an older sister.
Yeah,
She dabbled with things, but she always said, if you touch the pipe, if you touch needles, I'll kill you. And I thought, I'm never
yeah,
going to do that.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, somehow I did actually end up falling and smoking meth out of a glass pipe. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
And
yeah, it was not part of our lifestyle at all. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
does surprise everybody, even in my family, that somehow that's the life that I led for a while. Yeah,
So tell me a bit about
yeah,
like recreational drugs. You said you smoke a bit of marijuana and you might have taken a party pill here and there. Um, tell
yeah,
me about so your thought process in relation to heavier drugs like the needle and maybe heroin
yeah.
or meth was, oh, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah, it did. I
That's right.
couldn't believe it when one of my friends, she used to do it, and I would be like, "Why? You don't need that to stay awake.
Yeah.
If you don't need to, you can have fun just being around your friends."
Mm,
Um,
mm, that's
I was
it.
just shocked with it. I mean, I knew it was heavily addictive.
Mm,
I didn't go pop pills every single night or anything. It was just occasionally go to nightclubs and
mm,
have fun,
mm,
which I don't obviously do now anymore. That was young days, which probably leads into other things too. So regardless, it's best not to have anything. But
mm,
yeah, I fell into this cycle, and somehow I picked up
mm.
that pipe, and it took a long time to put it down. A lot of
Tell
will.
me about how that came about, Naomi. Like, what paint the picture for us because it's not like every day somebody says I'm never going to do that, and then all of a sudden they end up there. What I want to
Yeah,
know what was going
that's
on for
true. That's
you,
true.
yeah, and what was what
Um,
your thought process was.
yeah, well, I guess I saw lots of friends smoke it for over the years, in the party scene, but I always shook my head and didn't never bother with it. It was when I
Mm,
met this man who is the father of my children. I met him, um, and I don't know. I guess maybe the peer pressure, or I'm not sure. I'm wanting to make him happy, or just settling into that lifestyle. I mean, it became abusive. He was abusive to me, and I accepted because tragedy had struck in his life as well. Well, it
mm,
hadn't in mine, but it had in his, and I think I felt really sorry for him. I've
yeah.
called it the wounded bird syndrome. Is my little thing,
Mm,
that I've labeled it. Is I wanted to help him, I guess, and I accepted things and did things which I normally wouldn't have, because I
mm,
cared about him. And I
mm,
thinking now, it sounds so stupid, and to anybody watching, listening, that why would you accept being hit, or why would you accept going and smoking a drug when these are against your morals and these are against things that you believe in? But I don't know, I felt that to help him I could do this, and I don't know. And then it's kind of a blur how I allowed that to happen, but I did.
So you wanted to be a part of his world, is
So
that
I was just over the moon for him. And it,
hold on, I think we've gone a little bit frozen. Are you still with us?
sorry
You're still with us? I think the camera's gone a bit frozen.
Sorry, it cut out then.
Yep. Oh, you're back. Great.
To be part of
So
his world.
yeah, you wanted to be a part of his world. Is that like the concept, like to kind of fit in with him or be accepted?
Yeah,
or?
I'm still with you. It's just a little bit glitchy. Yep, I'm
Can
still
you hear
here.
me? Yep. So you wanted to be a part of his world. Is that
I am here.
more like
Yes,
how
I'm
you
here.
were thinking?
Sorry.
Oh, okay, we're losing connection. Maybe she's got a bad connection. Can you all still hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me? Hello? Awesome. It looks like we've just had a bad connection. I'll just try and reconnect, guys. If you just bear with me one moment, I'm sure she'll come back. Hi, Shari. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys, and supporting the show. It's a really big deal when somebody's sharing the inside, their journey, and it brings back lots of memories, and it can be a bit emotional as well. So thank you for your patience. I'll just try and reconnect if you just bear with me. We'll see if we can get her back. So by my understanding, and our stories all kind of are the same, but a little bit different. She fell in love with a guy who was using ice. Let me know if you can hear me. And somebody's offered her a pipe to fit in. She's said yes, and and gone on that journey. How long she went on that journey, with having a brief chat with her, I could see that the impact on her life was huge, and I really want to get her back on the live stream, in hope that she can share the rest of her story. And if she doesn't come back, we might have to postpone this, because it is a huge story. I think it might be her Wi-Fi and internet. That's right. So I'm hoping that she can come back. But here we go. She's coming back on. And yep, add to stream. Hello? It looks like she has a bad connection. Must be her Wi-Fi, guys. So yeah, when you share your journey, one thing leads to another in this life. Yeah, so you start by just thinking you're just going to fit in somebody's world. You're just going to you're just going to won't happen to you. You won't fall into that trap. You won't get addicted to it. But eventually you do, and your life starts going, out of control. Let's see. We're just having a bit of connection problem, guys. Here we go. Sorry about this. Thank you for your patience. It is a putrid drug, isn't it? And from that it leads to homelessness. It leads to violence, and domestic violence is huge in this world. I call it ice world. It can lead to death and mental institutes, and it just rips out every part of life that's important, and that is got any value. So I haven't yet to date met somebody. Here we go. That hasn't been affected negatively. I haven't yet to date. Okay, we're back. Awesome. Thank you, Naomi. Hasn't been affected. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Sorry. I've been trying to get on the phone and back on the computer, and yep, I'm back.
Yep. Awesome. I think the connection, we just lost connection. Thanks, guys, for your patience. I'm glad we could get Naomi back.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody.
Awesome. So we were talking about how you want to fit into this person's world when they're doing this drug that you said you never do, and the thought process behind that. Like you wanted to be a part of his world. You thought you could be there with him.
I never thought I'd become addicted. That's for sure. I thought I popped pills. I wasn't addicted. This is the same thing. I've got this mindset. It's strong. That I can do this, and I can stop doing it when I want to do it. And it's okay, but it's not okay. And as strong as my mind, it's a very long time ago. I guess it progressed until eventually to the point it was every 2 days easily we were having it, and just struggling with financially to get any money we could to be able to do it. Yeah.
So were you holding up a job? Like, were you still working at that time? How was your life? Tell me about, like, would you were you just doing drugs straight away as soon as you got onto the pipe?
No,
were you,
I was successful. I was working. However, once I got pregnant with my son, then I was unable to work. So yeah. I did do it when I was pregnant. Unfortunately, I don't like to admit this. But also there was a lot going on. I accepted that if I was tired and I would be sleepy, I would be abused. And so if I was not awake at the time, then I would be beaten up if I was not there to be by my partner's side after he lost his father. So there was a lot with it. There was a lot of domestic abuse, mentally, financially, physically, emotionally, and along with the ice usage as well. It was all a really bad combination. Which
when did things start spiraling, Naomi? When did things start to become so bad? Because I'm presuming when you first started, it was okay. Like, it didn't get like that straight away, right?
My life was good to begin with. Before I touched it, really. The life that I allowed myself to live with the father of my children was one that I would have never dreamed of. We had to steal from shops and sell things to have an income, which the first time was ever mentioned to me, I went, "What? You can't do that. Like, you can't. You don't. How can you do that?" But then that obviously ended up being the income source down the line because of the usage and everything. And yeah, it's embarrassing. It's horrible. And
No,
it's
there's no judgment. I understand how that happens because,
yeah,
you cross one boundary and then you go, I'd never do that though,
that's
and then you
right.
get
My
there and you do.
morals were gone.
Mm,
As pretty
mm,
much as soon as I accepted that and started smoking it, every moral went out the window pretty much. As I've mentioned, my family are very close. Even my
mm.
family, some of them are actually watching here on the feed, and some of my bestest friends are here. Thank you guys, love you. But
Yeah, it's
everyone was
beautiful.
so shocked because I didn't allow them to be in my life.
Yeah,
Obviously, when you're using, you don't want those people around. You
that's right.
don't want them to know, but you still want them to be there financially for you, which is very, very horrible.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, just the things you allow to happen. My friends, my family, I evicted from my life pretty much, and I accepted that to live this lifestyle.
yeah,
To the fact that, I mean, with the domestic violence and the drug usage, the smoking of ice, I was pretty much alone. My partner wasn't a very good partner.
yeah,
And so, for all that hardship, doing these things that I disagreed with, and I still disagreed with, but I was still doing.
yeah,
Um, then we had our second child. Um, and I had a toddler, I had a newborn, and I had another toddler, which was the other, my partner that was using ice all the time, and very needing of my emotions.
mm,
And yeah, the things that I allowed to happen, and I also, so getting to what everybody's been probably asking about is about my child and how it came to that. I have
Before
always
you
said,
go there, Naomi, I want to, because I'm with you because I
yeah,
know the things that
you
you're
do,
talking
yeah,
about. But like some people that are watching the show,
sorry,
it might be they might be thinking about trying it. They might be, oh yeah, my friends are using that. It's not such a big deal, right? Because I hear this, people go, oh, it's not
yeah,
such a big deal. Like it happened to
yeah.
you, but it's not such a
Well,
big
I
deal.
saw my friends in the nightclub scene smoking
Yeah.
it, and they were doing it, and they were okay.
Yep,
They
yep.
were
So, but
frightened.
I want you to paint the picture a little bit clearer because, like, I understand what you're talking about, like the things that I would never do, or the things that I allowed.
It's
What
hard
are
to
those
understand.
things?
How can you break your morals? How?
Mm,
I agree with that. People
mm,
watching that have never had it,
yeah,
um, would be asking the same question. I don't know. Honestly, the mindset when you have it, you're invincible in a way.
yeah,
You allow things to happen, and you accept things that you shouldn't. And I don't know how to make sense of that. And I don't know, in a way we shouldn't make sense of that because it doesn't make sense and it is
no,
immoral.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, don't
That's
touch
good
it.
that yeah, it's good that
Mm,
you explain it because it's hard to explain how you do that. But what actually
yeah.
happens, chemically speaking, the
Mm,
frontal lobe of your brain is hijacked by this drug. So the
yeah,
drug takes over. And you can't operate with the frontal lobe, which is your logic, rational decision
that's
making
it. You're very
processing
blank.
center, right? Yeah,
You're very
and you
blank, of
just
course.
do you act like use your animal brain. So the
Yeah,
animal brain takes over, and the animal brain only cares about the next 5 minutes of pleasure, and it'll
yeah,
do whatever it needs to do to get it.
you get back
So
there, yeah.
that's kind of the concept, guys. And
Mm,
but what I guess what I want to paint is like you said, I
yeah,
allowed things to happen that I
that's
wouldn't
it.
usually. Like what? Like I
Yeah,
want
well,
the
I allowed my partner to physically hurt me,
yeah,
because he'd lost his father. He was about to become a father, and he was very emotional about this.
yeah,
So I accepted that. That's with the broken wing syndrome, as I call it. I accepted that because I cared about him. So I
yeah,
thought, okay, well, it's okay if I smoke ice, I'm pregnant. Because while I'm pregnant, I don't like admitting this, but because he needs me there, and he was so upset if I wasn't there by my partner's side to help him grieve his father while he's about to become a father, and
yeah,
all his emotions, that he got so angry if I was tired, if I did sleep, that I would push myself to the limits to be there for this person that was the person that gave me that drug, that
yeah,
brought me into that world.
yeah,
I gave him my world, and I let that become mine. And yeah. Um, so as well, we would argue there was domestic violence, of course, and I would think it's okay because we'll just get it again. And when we get it again, he will be kind to me. He'll be lovely. He'll be nice, and we'll be
yeah,
okay again. even if it's just for that night, and then it will start again. And
Yep.
it's a cycle, and it's a vicious
Yep.
cycle, and it goes, and it went for years. It went for about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so
So
you were in that world for 4 years. You were using every second day,
pretty much it became very regular. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and you were
And when
trying
it
to do
wasn't
life,
around, it was very physical and very violent and very, yeah.
and you were
So
trying to do life with kids in that as
yes,
well.
yeah, raise my children.
Wow.
I wasn't allowed my family. I wasn't allowed my friends. I wasn't allowed to go places. I was closely monitored. My daughter, after she was born, I had to take to the hospital 3 times a week to get her harness because she had hips dysplasia. I had to get her harness readjusted. So I was juggling my 2 babies onto the bus to go to the hospital on my own with a time limit to be back. So he
Wow.
could go out and, steal things to provide the family with the financials. But doing it on my own and doing it to please this person, and absolutely
Yeah.
pushing myself to my limits. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example of when the drug takes over lives. You'll do
Logical thinking
things
gone.
to, like, it just doesn't make any sense. It just didn't make any
Mm.
sense for you now looking back on it.
Yeah.
The drug had taken control of him as well. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it
100%.
was driving both of your actions and
Yeah.
fueling the domestic violence and
Mm.
this whole activity that was dysfunctional. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
um
Definitely. The
how
rationalization of anything, nothing made sense for him, and he didn't understand the concept of anything.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess I didn't understand really because I was still allowing this to happen. So
Did you at any point go, I've got to stop this craziness, I've got to stop this life somehow, how do I get out of this?
I did. Well, there was an intervention order in the past, and I removed it. Probably, I guess, for the addiction of still wanting him and still wanting that there. And then a
Yeah.
year later, it was placed again when I asked to leave. But also at that stage, because I had admitted to drug use and there was domestic violence, my son was removed from my care. So there's another curveball in the works, but this is after losing my daughter.
Tell me about how old was your daughter, darling?
My
This
daughter
is your
was
second daughter?
so for my we'll get onto my little rainbow later. My little rainbow is on my way out of the, as everything's cupcakes and rainbows. As my life got better, she came. Um,
That's
but
good.
yeah, she's helped a lot. Um, but also losing my daughter has given me the strength, the courage to be here where I am, because it's because of her that I want to do this.
Yeah.
She died because of this lifestyle, this domestic abuse, and these drugs, this smoking the ice, that or everything kind of led to her passing.
Yeah, they're like, do you want to share what happened?
Yeah, so this is I'm doing this. It's Yes, it is embarrassing. It's horrible. I don't blame myself, and I don't blame him. I don't blame anyone for this. I blame this lifestyle, I guess, and I want to stop people and let them know: do not take this drug. Do not allow yourself to live any lifestyle like that. Because
Yeah.
if somebody told me I'd lose a child, I would have been gone in an instant.
Yeah.
Um, as I said, I was going to the hospital a few times a week with my daughter and my son. I had to catch public transport because somehow all my cars got crashed instantly by the father of my children. Um, and I wasn't allowed my friends or family to help me. So I was very run down. I was very exhausted. And then he used to always tell me how I wasn't good enough, and all of these manipulative tactics. So one night I decided that I was going to stay awake, and I pushed myself. I was meant to go to sleep. I didn't co-sleep with her. He was very adamant about that. Yet he slept in the other end of the house. And I pushed myself to the limits because I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't this. So I stayed up and I had a shower and I shaved my legs, and I was making myself look beautiful for my partner because I wanted to make him happy.
Yeah.
And my daughter woke for a feed. And so the next minute I sat in the bed, sat down, and I was breastfeeding her. And then the next moment when I woke up was hours later. and she had rolled off and was upside down, so I lost her. Yeah. So yeah,
Sorry.
um, yeah. In a way, that relationship or the lifestyle and things, and you know, all of that together has ended her life. But yeah, hopefully she can save other lives by being an icon and letting people know that don't go down that. I'm a smart person. I'm a great person. I care about everybody. I love my family. I love my friends. I love to travel. I love to meet people. I love life. Yeah, I let myself live in this dark, hidden, isolated life, and I lost my daughter. It was absolutely beautiful. So yeah.
So sorry you had to go through that.
Mm.
Um, and it's hard to talk about that, and
It
it's hard to
is.
even
Yeah.
imagine how that would be for you. Um, was that your turning point, Naomi? Was that your turning point where you said, "I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore"? Like that's horrific enough. Did you still stay in that? What
I wish
happened? Like,
it was. I wish it was. No, my son went to stay. The families I say got involved, and he stayed with one of the grandparents for a few days. Um, and yeah, those few days we sat in the back room with the lights off, listening to the radio for about 3 days in the dark, smoking meth. It completely numbed all our feeling. We cried a lot, but the drug, I guess, numbed that feeling of the grief and the everything.
yeah,
It was horrible. So there's a lot of songs that I'll listen to now that just put me back there.
yeah,
Um, but then obviously it was the cycle of the ice use and cycle of domestic violence that it just kept going. It's okay, we can be together, we can do this, we'll do this together. It's we suffered this loss, but we can be strong. And it continued for a little while until I decided, look, I needed to leave this. I wanted to leave the relationship, which is when it got even worse. And I called the police and said I wanted to end that. And then because there had been domestic violence, because I had called the police here and there through that, they put a order on and took away my son the day that I said that I was leaving, that I put my foot down and said, I'm going. I want to go to my mother's. I want to leave this man. I want to take my child and I want to go. That was the day that I decided, but it wasn't the day that I was able to. They came in and they took my son and they arrested him, and they left me in that house. So he came home and obviously scored and got on it again with an intervention order, with my child out of my care and smoking meth still. Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
So
then,
you
of
were
course,
trapped. You were trapped in that.
I
You
was
you're
trapped.
trapped.
I was literally trapped with him in the end because I wanted to leave him, but the government didn't allow it. Pretty much, they took my child and he just walked home after he was arrested.
That's
Um,
crazy.
so it ended up we broke bail conditions. Obviously, next time I rang the police, but he still came back. And then until the day that I put my foot down after he got in the way of me accessing, uh, being able to see my son, because he was on the drug so much that he refused to be part of the court system, to go to that, to say, I want to be there for my son. Even though there was an order, he was still allowed to, and just as much the right as I was, and I was still going to court and I was fighting for him. But he refused to get those papers, so he hid at my house, away from the court, away from having the chance to be the father of his son. Um, and then so he got angry when I would go to visit him, because why do I have the right to see my child when he doesn't,
Yeah.
And one day when he actually physically took, my mother put money in my bank to go catch a bus. He physically took my card and took it away and spent that money on credit instantly, so I couldn't do anything. And that's the day I went to the police station and I put my foot down and I blocked everything I could from him. Um, and I tried to make that move. And I fought for my son back. So there's a lot in between, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, the cycle and the things that people do when they are on drugs as well. Because I had to be clean, I had to pass the test to get my son back, and I jumped through
Yeah.
invisible hoops, and I did everything I could to be there for him. But I did in that time. Yeah, I had to do the most impossible things, like get a house, have a home for and stability for my child. Yet I lost my income due to not
Yeah.
having a child in my care anymore, and I got evicted from my home, which is when I found out that the father of my children was living in my roof. And he was monitoring everything I did. He created fake people that I believed in that contacted me daily, and he monitored everything I did. Um,
Sounds like a
yeah,
movie, Naomi. It sounds like a movie.
he's a
Like,
sociopath. Yeah, it was
wow.
really hard. I'm really thankful that I have my family and my friends. I hurt my friends and my family a lot. But I think I did know at the time when I was hurting them that I knew they would always be there. Um, I know that sounds horrible, but I knew they would be
No,
there
no.
when I was me. They would be there, and
When you
they
were
are.
you. Yeah.
When I was
That's
me,
amazing.
when I wasn't
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
on drugs, and I wasn't
Yeah.
myself.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
wasn't.
you're
I was,
not.
I was doing
You
things that
it's
weren't
actually
me, but I didn't feel comfortable doing them at the time either.
I'm so
So
glad you said that because, I often, when I work with families, I often say, your son or your daughter is in there, but you're
yeah,
not
that's
dealing
it.
with that with who you know. You're dealing with the
Yeah,
drug, yeah,
you're
with the
dealing with
addiction.
somebody
So
who's addicted.
I'm
That's
so
correct.
glad you put it like that, and so
Yeah,
your friends knew you for who you were. Your family knew
they do.
you, and they didn't give up
Nobody
hope.
understood the messages and the pain that I put them through. They just never understood it.
Yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
understand how I allowed that to happen. But yeah, like I see a lot of comments here. I've got family and friends commenting in here. So yeah, it's really good to see.
beautiful. They love you and they're supporting you
They
in your
do.
journey and recovery, and that's so important, guys. To really have your friends and family with you when you do have to start again, because it's not easy. It's
Mm,
not easy. Like you said, you needed a house, and how can you have
yeah,
a house when you haven't got a job and you haven't got your kid, and it's all like
yeah.
intertwined. So
My family actually helped because I had $37,000 of super. Guess what, guys? Don't touch that drug because we withdrew that super to
yeah,
pay back drug dealers.
yeah,
I have zero. I have nothing in super. Luckily, I had 2,000 left, and that paid for the house's bond when I got my child back in my care. That paid for that. One of my beautiful grandparents lent me the money to do it, and I said, "I'll pay you back as soon as this. I'm doing this application to get my super. I know I can, and I will pay you back as soon as I do this." And my family helped me. My family
that's
helped pay
beautiful.
half my rent
You're very
until I was
blessed.
able to. I am. So people, don't worry about your family if you're wanting to stop and worried about your family. If you're honest with them and you are set about stopping, they will be there, and you have other support groups as well that will all be here for you. So yeah, you've disappeared, you've gone black. There you are.
We just lost each other for a minute, but
Yeah.
you're very blessed to have had family around to be able to help you, because when you don't have your family and friends, and a lot of people in this world, you get
Mm.
caught up for a long period of time, and family and friends tend to walk away because they don't want to support that anymore. They don't know how to help.
Yeah,
They don't know what to do. Yeah.
they
So
can
you
only do
really,
so much. I've had the same thing with one of my best friends, and I felt I could only be there for her so much. This is
yeah,
after I got better, and once I was recovered, I'm on this beautiful path I'm on now, my journey now. But there's only so much you can say or do and show to be there for someone. But if she's makes the decision to say I'm doing it, I'm there for her
that's
100%.
it.
So,
That's
yeah,
it. And hopefully you can send her the link to this show, and you can share it with her. Maybe that might
yeah,
be her turning point. Tell me
yeah.
about your turning point, Naomi. What was the turning point what happened where you made that decision that no, you don't want this life anymore, and what put you on a different path? Talk to us about that.
Well, fear of also of losing my children. I had a hard time. I had just under a year's battle with the government, with the Department of Children's Protection, after losing my daughter, and then for unknown causes. And then it was also my son was removed from my care, and then it's due to I got pregnant. Um, having an argument with an unreal person that I argued with a new girlfriend that didn't exist. I got pregnant to him when I claimed my man, and had my daughter. So then I was clean for quite some time. And I had her, and I got my children in my care, and they're beautiful. Um, but then I did actually have hiccups, which I've been very honest with my family about. Um, I would get it, and I cleaned my house, um, which is horrible. And I was taking it for some time, using it secretly to help clean things and to make my house in order.
Yeah.
Um, and then the big turning point is that I felt the guilt that overrun me, and thinking about how proud, like my daughter would be if I stopped, and the guilt that overran me thinking of her was enough to eventually just stop. Like I haven't touched in a very long time. And also I want to join this campaign. I want this to I want to go and join the anti-ice campaign, and use this to help others, and to use my daughter's life to help others to not go through what I went through. And so this is an amazing thing that I'm so happy and excited to be part of,
That's
because
awesome.
yeah,
We look
yeah,
forward to that journey with you. We
yeah,
received your paperwork as a volunteer, and
yeah,
we're processing that now. But like we're super excited at seeing what we can do in Adelaide, and in different regions, to help other
yeah.
people step out. But so your process of stopping to use was gradual. Is that what you're
It
saying?
was
Like,
gradual. It was
yeah,
I did, because I guess it is so addictive. I don't want to
yeah,
admit that, and I don't want to be honest about this, and I don't want to
yeah,
tell you all
yeah,
that I continue to do it again after all of that.
yeah.
But I did. Um, but it
Thank you
was
for your
it was
honesty.
yeah. You're welcome. But it is hard to get out of, and it is, the financial part of it is ridiculous. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
a single mother,
yeah,
and instead, like, I've to actually part of it was I would spoil my children. I take my children to the toy store on my payday.
yeah,
I literally
yeah.
run myself broke on my payday,
Wow.
because then I can't go do it.
Yeah, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, we've come a long way. They've got enough toys now, and I'm getting bills paid, and debts paid off and things now, sadly. But it's I'm spending my money in the ways that I'm meant to be spending my money, and that makes me feel really proud. So
So you
it's a
should
good
be.
feeling.
So you
Yeah,
should be. You've come a long
yeah,
way, Naomi, and I can see by all the comments, all your family and friends that are supporting and walking with you on this journey. They're so
yeah,
proud of you,
mhm,
and you are a living example of what can be possible. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
for anyone out there, because I know I've walked with people who gone. I didn't think I was going to ever get off this. I didn't think I was
mm,
ever going to get out of this journey, and we are examples. You're a living
thank you,
example that even
thank
after
you.
everything that you went through, that you can still. I like to say I stole my life back. Because
Yeah.
it was stolen from you. Your life was
It
stolen
was,
from
it
you.
was,
Yeah,
it
and
wasn't,
so
I was, yeah, the things that wasn't me. And
no,
that's exactly what I've always said. That wasn't me.
yeah,
And I even when I was doing it, I didn't understand, and I didn't feel right doing it. Like, it wasn't even me, but they've, visually, that and everything, that's what I was doing. And that
yeah,
was, and I feel good to be where I am, to go, I don't touch ice, and I'm not going to touch ice. And
awesome.
I've actually pretty much stopped smoking cigarettes, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, we
feeling good
know
about
in
that.
recovery, we often say, don't leave a door open. It's not just, you stop ice, but if you are using or drinking or using other drugs, it's a
Yeah,
doorway
it
waiting
is a
to
doorway.
open that door, and it's a matter of time. You will go back that way. It just is the nature of the beast. I've seen it
It is.
over 10 years now, and we lose some amazing people on that journey because they think, oh no, it won't happen to me, I've got this, I'm all right, but eventually that's what
And it's
happens.
it's so hard
Tell
to
me
get out of
about,
it.
did you do any recovery programs? Are
Actually,
you
well,
part of
actually,
any?
I did. The day that my son was taken from me, That exact day I got on to the internet and I went, nah, what can I do to get him back? So I put myself, it wasn't court ordered or anything. I went to court the next day and said, look, I'm in this course and I'm doing this. I did a smart recovery group,
Awesome.
which was pretty cool. And I did enjoy that. It was quite fun, and hearing people talk about their things and what they would do instead of doing it. You know, sometimes I like to do oracle cards because I like to lift people's spirits and help people. So I'd bring them there and I'd do readings for other people at times, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel good. It's, you
Yeah.
know, they were talking about the things that you can do other than smoking ice, something that you enjoy instead of doing that. And so, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that made me feel good as well. And so also I did, I guess it's not really a recovery for drugs, but I did a circle of security course, which
Mm-hmm.
I reckon they should teach this in school as well, because it's
Yep.
about relationships and understanding how your child is, you know, how they'll misbehave if, you know, their needs aren't met, but it applies to every single person. You know,
That's awesome.
it's just in general, yeah, circle of security was the best course ever. I love that.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but I did that because of what I was going through, and also that helped with my children, with my son who was there through all of that and through the violence and through all that time, to when I had my second daughter, after, you know, once I'd done that circle of security. And they're completely different children. They're both absolutely beautiful, but you can tell the parenting styles of each of them from growing up. My son can be quite challenging, and my daughter's just this really easy breezy, happy little thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it
That's
is
beautiful.
beautiful to see. But yeah, also it's kind of sad in a way, because of when I do think of that and I go, what did I put my child through? You know, what did he have to see, and why would, you know, there was times that I wasn't there for him,
Mm-hmm.
and things that are like allowed to happen. For example, going back to that, I because the partner, the father of the children, he would sit in the back room smoking ice and things, and he wanted me there because he was grieving for his father. I set a baby cam up in the lounge room, just so when I wasn't there, I could still see my child, you know. But that's not acceptable, regardless of what I thought back then. It's still not acceptable. I should have been there and I should have been with him, because yeah, your kids need you too. So yeah. Yeah. I don't know if the camera's working. Hello, you've got to unmute yours. Can you hear me? Yep, that's it,
Okay.
I
Can you
think.
hear me?
I can. Yep.
I've lost audio.
Yep. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello.
I've lost audio. I'm not sure why. Uh,
I can hear you.
okay, as long as you guys can hear us both. I can't hear you, Naomi, so
Yep.
I'm going to continue to chat until and when I see your lips moving, it means you're answering me. I've
I
lost
can
audio. I had a call come through, and then
It switches.
I can hear you.
yeah, it switches the mic. That's okay. We're almost due to wrap up anyway, so I'll just continue to walk you through this, and when you start
Yep.
talking, I'll shush. I'll shush.
Yep.
So tell me about you've done these courses. You've done some recovery stuff. You got your friends around you now, um, and your heart is to go back and help other people that are going through this, to help them change their path as well, and educate kids maybe in schools.
100%. Yep. If we can teach and educate people, the people that are thinking of trying the drug, know somebody on the drug, kids in schools, everything. If we can teach them and let them see, for example, our lives. I know you've also had it, struggled with it before as well. If they can see what we've been through and where we are now to the success, that they will never want to touch it again, because it's hard to get to where we are. And I'm so proud of us and everybody that does make it through, but don't even start that path, don't even take that first step. Say no.
This is really hard not being able to hear you. But I look, I'm so blessed to have met you and to see your journey coming through the other end. And I look forward to meeting you face to face.
Definitely. Yes, I need to come up there to do
And
some
she's
study.
bringing in, I've got a little screen here coming up. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to coming up and doing some study up there. Definitely. And meeting the guys in the team. That would be great.
So it's just a bit slow. There's a delay here.
Please.
So I look forward to working with you, and I look forward to doing this journey together, the next chapter of your life. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
How do you turn this off? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. I can't hear this. I can't do it because it's feeding that.
Hey, Papa.
It's all right. It's this. Sorry, guys. What happened? Somebody called my phone while we're doing this live stream, and it blocked out my audio. So I'm super excited to work with you, Naomi. Honestly, you're such a blessing to everybody out there. You've given people hope. Yeah, that recovery is possible, and if you, like I always say, if I can do it, and if you can do it, other people can too. Yeah, so it doesn't matter
Okay.
where what's happened. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter because it impacts, and it's painful journey, but you can change this. You can use it for good. Yeah,
Yes, that's
for
great.
what tried to destroy you, you can actually go back and use all of that. And there's no shame in your journey because
Yeah.
all things work together for the good of those that love God. Yeah, and
Well,
God is love. So
after losing my
when we
daughter,
can step into
positive.
that and utilize that and glow like you are, you're a living example. You're beautiful.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Andrea.
So thank you for joining us tonight, guys. If you have any questions for Naomi, please put them up because I will tap her into the show. She'll continue to see comments. If you have any questions or you want to connect or you want to chat, or if you want some support, if you want some help out there and you don't know how to get out of that entrapment, and that hell that you're living in, you may know somebody that might be walking down the same similar journey. Please, get them to call us. We want to do this walk with you. It's not easy to do it alone, so make sure you get the number. It's 1-800-NO-TO-ICE or 0481 844 555. And I'd like to maybe after Naomi does some training with us, maybe bring her back on the show. She might even do some shows in Adelaide. Who knows? Who knows?
That's great.
But we look forward to doing live together, guys. And thanks so much for your support, everybody out there.
Anyway,
Make sure you hit share on your screen so we can share this show and we can share this story, all in honor of Naomi's daughter. What was your baby's name?
My daughter's name was Imogen.
I can't hear you, but I'm sure the people at home got that. And we will chat on the phone a bit later, hey?
Yep, sounds good.
We'll
Also, my daughter's middle name is Hope.
All in honor of your daughter, and I know that this is going to help a lot of people understand the devastation this drug brings. Yeah. Guys, not even once is our message. Please click share. And Naomi, God bless you. Thank you for joining us. We'll meet you soon. Take care.
Bye,
Good night, everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday. Take care. Not even once. Not even once. Not even once.
Bye.